Hey, this is Chris Gore. You're listening to Dr. Gonzo Radio on Dr. Gonzo Piqua something.com. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, we'll have Zach. I'll have Zach do the next bumper.
So, hey, Dr. Gonzo's here.
There are some who call me Tim.
Put a dime in him, you gotta let the whole song play out.
He's like human jukebox.
Oh, he's a talker, ain't he?
He's an old fat grandpa man.
It's showtime.
Okay. Hey, this is Dr. Gonzo, a.k.a. the Gonz, a.k.a. Tim. You can call me what you want. Just don't call me too late at night because I work. I'm here with Blaine from Criticless. Slight intro for those who don't know who I am. I used to play, a retired drummer, played with Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and just a ton of other people. Got a long resume. Produced music for the troops overseas after 9/11, and played in secular music as well as Christian music. Played with Darlene Cheka Hillsongs, Lincoln Brewster, a lot of other people. And now I'm having fun with kids and grandkids. I love YouTube, but it seems to be what I would have called in the old day kind of like a negatron, where somebody walks into the room and sucks out all the positive energy. But I found this dude, this guy over here, and he was on Versus, I think. And yep. I shot Chris a message. I said, dude, you got to put him on, because Blaine finds these gold nuggets and even shows that we maybe don't like. I mean, we'll get into this more, but I mean, how many movies have you seen, folks, that you liked every second of the movie? For me, it's Oppenheimer. I like that. And that was all dialogue. Blaine here and his band of merry men has been able to find gold nuggets. And in the ticker down there, I would encourage you to check him out on criticalist.com, become part of the revolution. And Blaine, I'm going to let you have it from here. What inspired you to do this?
Well, yeah, I spent a lot of time for many years listening to a lot of podcasts and radio and commentators and all of those things. Was a big movie and film buff, and I just hated Rotten Tomatoes. I couldn't stand the negative critic sphere, all of that, and realized that it just didn't align with regular people. And so I just decided, I talked to my wife and I was like, hey, we've got the funds. I want to build basically a alternative to Rotten Tomatoes, but something much more, and give people an outlet and give the everyday person a voice that is louder than what it's been, and really focus on what regular people think. And that was really the general idea to Criticless when I created it. And it's a website, it's an app, it's in Apple and Android app stores. And it has been a long road of building this thing. I'm not a programmer or a coder. Didn't grow up doing that type of thing, but I found a dev team, we created it. And then I found myself in the YouTube sphere to market this thing, because that's kind of how you market these days. And so I've met this wider internet community of, your geeks and gamers and Nerderotic and the Fellowship and all of these people, and Chris Gore and everybody. And they loved what I was doing, and the fact that I wanted to put the voice back in the people's hands and give them a say versus focusing on just critics. And it's just kind of grown from there. And it's been a very exciting and fun experience over the past couple of years, growing my website and app, and then finding myself in the YouTube sphere and being some kind of YouTuber. I don't know. I pretend to be a YouTuber, but it's been a very fun experience, and I've met a lot of cool people like you. And just along the way, there's so many folks that this idea is resonating with, that the negative sphere of even the YouTube space and all of that, it kind of just spirals out of control, and it gets disconnected from what your everyday viewer thinks about entertainment.
Criticalist is great. Now, once you join your mob of merry men over there, can you submit reviews to your channel?
Well, yeah, to the website and everything. Yes, absolutely. All you have to do is create an account, and you can. All it requires is an email, and we do require a phone number on the website simply because of keeping bots out. We don't want a lot of bots dropping reviews. They have tried, and we've been able to keep them at bay. So, but yeah, you just create a website or create an account on Criticless, and it's almost like it functions almost more like a Twitter or a Facebook, Instagram, something like that, a social platform paired with a reviewing platform. So it's all of that kind of in one space. And we have groups, and you can make lists, all of these things, all of these different components in one place to where you can leave your own reviews and let people know what you think about things and give it a score, and even break down things like violence and nudity and sexual content, political bias. We have all of those themes ratings within Criticless, so you can really break down how you feel about a film.
So why would you say that Thanksgiving was just such a kick in the pants? I mean, it really went well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had, we've got that Zootopia 2, and then Wicked was there. It was these two movies that were pretty much a known quantity that were likely to succeed unless they were just absolutely terrible. And so it was a good weekend for the box office. It definitely needed it after the year that we've had. And I'm honestly happy that theaters got to make some money for one weekend, and that we had a couple of films that were worth seeing.
Oh yeah, and I went to see also Now You See Me, Now You Don't, because I like that franchise. I used to perform magic. I'm the oldest of 7, so I used to perform magic shows for my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. And the neat thing about Now You See Me, Now You Don't is they quote a lot of older magicians in this thing.
Okay.
And it was good geek fest for amateur magicians and stuff like that. And, the franchise works. I went to see Wicked. I've played in a lot of theater as a drummer. A lot of people said the songs were not as good as the first part, but that's theater. I mean, Defying Gravity is going to be the giant production song. So there's nothing going to touch that. Just like in Oklahoma, the song Oklahoma is the big production song. And you have a lot of other good songs. But I'll tell you one little snippet from there. They have a fight in the cornfield after they find Nessa is dead. So, yeah, they drop a house, Dorothy's house, on a girl in a wheelchair. So let's be inclusive. So she couldn't get out of the way, I guess. But so Glenda and Elphaba have a fight, and I would encourage people to look the shorts up on YouTube, and it's hilarious. And Ariana Grande really nails the comedic edge on Wicked and stuff like that. So, what do we have to look forward to this Christmas season, you think? What are you looking out for?
Man, I was kind of thinking about that because, I mean, obviously we've got Avatar coming up here, and that one, it's probably going to do really well at the bare minimum overseas. I'm honestly kind of interested to see it. That franchise is such a weird one, but it's going to make money, and it doesn't have the staying power of Star Wars or even things like what Marvel's done and whatnot, but it is still huge, and people in other countries love it. So I think it's going to do well. There is actually a film that no one's probably going to watch called Dust Bunny that is coming out in the next 2 weeks.
What did you see?
A monster. Under my bed.
What do your parents think about monsters? Do they believe in them?
Did you know? Is that enough to kill a monster?
What makes you think I kill monsters?
You seem like you killed all it thinks.
You believe in monsters?
You're a monster. She believe in you.
A monster didn't need your parents. Those were men that came to kill me. Why would a monster eat your family? Have you seen something you shouldn't have seen?
I know it's real.
You think you know?
You think you know.
Her being here won't stop them. They will go right through her. You seem triggered.
You got the girl?
I got the gun.
And I really want to see that because it's Brian Fuller who did Hannibal and Pushing Daisies and some very kind of eccentric things that I love. And I didn't realize that he was behind it. When I found that out recently, that's the thing I'm going to see. But I love your, smaller indie films. And so I'm hoping to check that out. But I still don't think I'm actually excited. I don't know if you've seen anything about Anacondas. It actually looks funny, or Anaconda.
Oh, that looks great. Yeah,
it does. And so that's the one I want to see the most, honestly.
Yeah, and that's definitely on my Christmas list. We have Cinemark out here, and with the Cinemark Movie Club, you get one free movie a month. And I've been accumulating credits because there hasn't been anything too much that I've really wanted to see. So Anaconda is definitely on my list, and we can shift a little bit about the. I'm going to Avatar because I want to see the Doomsday Theater, the trailer on that. Yeah, because dude, I'm a comic collector. I mean, I've showed you some of the. I have a lot of Silver Age, but I understand, Blaine, that they don't make movies exactly to fit the comic. Everybody was looking at Doomsday being Secret Wars, Hickman's run on that. There's no way they could pull that off. You'd have to do the comic before that was Time Runs Out, where they set it out. So I'm sure the Russos will take certain little factors about that. But, I mean, has it become too negative, it's negative and political about the comic books? We just can't seem to be satisfied with it. Let me play a quick clip here.
Because I don't know if you know this or not, but we are old, Bruce.
Okay, well, if you're that concerned about ruining your image, I can confidently say the first thing you should do is never try to pull off saying skibbity ever again.
No cap?
I am this close to slapping you right now.
Well, I have to do something, man. I can't even put on my shorts without it being a controversy. I put my shorts on. No, don't wear your shorts. I take my shorts off. Where's the classic Superman? There's no middle ground. What am I supposed to do? Wear the shorts halfway?
From our friends at How It Should Have Ended, which is a great website as well, man. What I imagine when you're making a movie, you have to include the normies in that. I mean, Infinity Wars and Endgame were nowhere near the comic, kind of, because you had the Infinity Gauntlet, but they didn't have Pip with Gamora. They introduced Pip and Star Fox at the end of the Eternals, which really sucked. The movie and the CGI on Pip, but I mean, so they don't set the things up like they used to. So coming into Doomsday and all that stuff, I don't know about what's your opinion on that, Blaine? There's a bunch of characters. They showed the teams. I hope Doom kills them all.
Kill them all.
Right.
I'm not interested in any of the teams.
Totally. That's kind of what I've said, is that I'm just up for a clean slate, like just wipe it all, because I'm right there with you. Because even like with bringing back all the old X-Men, I'm like, those guys have been played out. We've seen them so much. They've been around forever. We're all ready for a new batch. And that's the thing, I think, is that a lot of these like studios and stuff have kind of lost the plot with what people want. And yes, it is hard to please because you are pleasing multiple sides of just the fandom alone. And then, like you said, you got the normies who you don't want confused and don't want disinterested. And, you can't make everybody happy at one time. And that's why I've always gone into it like, look, I'm not looking for a one-to-one on matching the comic or adaptations as far as those go. If it's close, if it's in the ballpark, if it has the right themes, the vibe, the storylines to some degree, or at least marginally similar, then I'm okay. I think that our expectations, or a lot of people's expectations, are extremely high, and it's like, it's difficult to adapt things to film. And I hope it's great. I really do. But at the same time, like you said, I don't really care about most of the people involved. It's like the new Cap, and his movie was terrible. And nobody wanted Anthony Mackie as Captain America. They wanted Bucky. And that was the thing. And that would have stuck close to the comics. And if we had gotten Bucky as Cap for a while, and then they maybe pivoted over to Anthony Mackie after that, it could have possibly worked. But I also don't think Anthony Mackie is really a leading man. He doesn't seem to be able to carry things. And so I don't know. These studios just don't seem to really get it anymore, and I don't fully know what has happened, but I hope that they can get back on track, because I don't want to see the comic book and superhero genre fall off and die, because I love them. I'm right there with you. I have stacks and stacks of comics, and I love this stuff, and I will try and, like you said, I will try and find the nugget, the good thing in there. But lately, with some of these things, it has been hard to even do that. Like with that Cap movie, where I walked out and I was just mad. I was like, this sucks. So,
well, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier set it up, and that was a horrible thing.
Yes.
Disney Plus series, I just don't like them. I don't like the whole TVA backstory. I like Owen Wilson. I don't like the TVA run in Loki season 1 and season 2. Deadpool and Wolverine, which made a boatload of money. They used that a little bit as a backstory, but they also mocked the hell out of it too. So that's good. And we want movies to be family friendly. Deadpool and Wolverine definitely was not, but you know what? They didn't make $1 billion because the kids stayed home. I was kind of shocked in the theater, man, because I saw a lot of families with little kids in there, and I'm like, okay, well, it's, that's on them. I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent. I raised my kids to love movies, and they're now their kids are loving movies. So we got to let it go at that. So the funny thing about Deadpool and Wolverine, just to pivot on that a little bit, was I wasn't familiar with the term pegging. Funny story about that. So I asked my son, Steven, I said, Steven, because we went together, I said, what is pegging? He says, Dad, I'm not really comfortable about talking about that to you. Just Google it, okay? And I'm thinking, I Googled it, and it's like, oh yeah, Deadpool 1. Yeah, okay. So I'm older, I'm 68, so some of the terms I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Man, I was surprised your son wasn't like, oh man, you were a musician, how do you not know this one? Like, did you not? You were around some weird people.
And that's the whole thing with the politically correct. I don't care about people. I'm a Christian, but if people are, that's great. If they're not, that's great. That's on you. You be you. Same with the alphabet soup crowd. The LGBTQ, MICKYMOUSC, whatever. They can be them, but I just don't want it forced on me. Your sexual preference is your private business. And it just seems like it's been making it into all the movies, and political stuff and anti this or anti that, and that, to me, I think, do you think that's a factor in people not wanting to go to the movies? Who wants to be preached at? I want to get out of my head.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, is that, like you said, you want to get out of your head. People go to entertainment to escape a lot of the things from their day-to-day life, and especially the things like politics and just the hyper divisive nature of our current culture. And they aren't going, like you said, to be preached at. And That is absolutely the case. I know so many people, and I mentioned it on Film Threat, that episode that you were talking about, one of the ones where I was on, and I was like, I spent my life around blue collar people, and that's what I had done up until now. I owned a trucking company, a landscaping company. I worked in automotive. I've done all the blue collar things, and I was just around very normie type of people. And for years, I heard people talking and complaining about this stuff. And it's gotten to where I think most of these folks, because I'm still connected with many of them, they're just like, I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to put a time investment into a show and get 3 episodes in and then find out that they're pulling the rug out from under me and they've made half the characters gay, or they've, end up like injecting all of this strange stuff that feels out of place and feels forced. And the same thing for the movie theater, where people are like, I'm not going to pay this amount of money to take my family to go see a Disney movie to find out that they're trying to lecture me on sexual identity. I'm not going to do it. I'll wait until other people, tell me whether this is safe or not for my family. And that has a lot to do with why I created Criticless and started doing this as well. Is it's like, I want people to give their opinions, and you can be connected with friends and family and whoever on Criticless and be like, oh, okay, well, Blaine and his wife and these friends of mine, they all watched it and they said that this is a good movie and it's worth seeing, and maybe I'll take the family to go see it this weekend. And so that's the thing, is that it's almost like it's become like stepping on kind of a live grenade, where you're just like, I'd rather just avoid that area entirely until I know it's safe.
Well, and then you also sometimes get heat from, not from the Fellowship, I love those guys, man. But you'll get heat out there in YouTube land. It's kind of came to this.
I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed animal food trough whopper. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberry. Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
So
yes,
that's pretty much it. Where that's why at family events, my kids are all over the spectrum.
Right.
But I raised them to think critically, and I had a thing with my son. I was disagreeing with him on a certain view, and he goes, "Dad, you taught me to think critically. Do you want me not to think critically now? I can't make up my own mind." I said, "Yeah, you got me there, boy." So, and my kids are all in their 30s. So you got to let it go. But it's so divisive out there. And the thing that encouraged me when I went to see Superman, I'll share this with my audience and your audience, is when people left that, they were talking about comics again. They were because Fantastic Four wasn't out yet. And they were excited about what's Fantastic Four going to be like, and the Marvel versus DC thing, and it was cool. And there were a ton of families. When I go see the movies, Blaine, I see them here in my small town of Piqua, and then I go near Dayton to see the bigger view, the more big city type of thing. And in Superman, there were a ton of families. Versus Fantastic Four, which there was more adults and teenagers. I noticed that mix. I just kind of look at those things. And Superman, except for that stupid line, "You hurt my feelings," which David Cornsweet actually pushed back on James Gunn on that. Yeah. There was a extra thing when I bought the video. James Gunn put his fingers into David Cornsweet, alpha move. But going into Superman, I didn't expect a Superman solo movie because James Gunn can't do that. So clear expectations going in on DC or Marvel.
Right. Yeah, and it was kind of an interesting effect for me because I have young kids, and when I went and saw Superman, actually the first time I left and I was like, I don't think I liked that very much. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, and I wasn't as crazy about it. And I was like, but after I got out of the theater, I just kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it. I'm like, why do I keep thinking about this movie if I wasn't so crazy about it? And so I got my family and I was like, you know what? I think the kids and the wife are going to like this. We need to go back. I brought the family back, watched it with them, saw their excitement, saw how much they loved it, all 3 of them, and how much fun they had because it is a more playful film. And when I left, I was like, I think I like it more now. And I just seen how they kind of interpreted
Right.
it. And that's the thing, is that a lot of the people in this space of talking about all of this stuff, it's some of the things that they forget, where it's like, just because it wasn't initially, it didn't work for me, doesn't necessarily make it bad, and it doesn't make it a failure. It just means that it didn't resonate with me in the way that I thought it would, or what the
Right.
expectations I had, right? And so that when I review things or give my opinion on things, I typically come from that perspective where I'm like, well, this is my opinion personally, and this is where I was left with it. But on the same hand, I can see why XYZ, and why people that don't think the way that I do would love this. And so that does affect kind of my score and my overall opinion, because I understand that everything isn't made for me specifically.
Well, and a little bit about Superman too. I'm a big Metamorpho guy. I read all the odd characters in comics. So, and they did him to the T. James Gunn can do Silver Age heroes and represent them pretty good. Mr. Terrific was good. I liked the ensemble cast. I loved Crypto. I got the Crypto thing up there. I mean, my daughter has a Crypto. His name is Hank, and so there was a lot I could relate with. I think the kids like the dog, and people will say out there in the YouTube sphere, well, I like dogs, but I hated Crypto. It's like we get into the breed or whatever. It was just stupid fun.
Right.
And isn't that what we go for? Do you think we that's why I like the critical list, because sometimes I think we critique things to the nth degree to where a normie's going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. I love Robert Meyer Burnett, and I go over to his channel when I really want to know, because I've been behind a camera before for doing ministry things and stuff like that out in England and all that. So I love his perspective on film and all that kind of stuff. But that's because I like that. The normal people going into a film don't look at, oh, did they block that shot off right? I mean, and stuff like that, No,
they don't. And I think that there's, there's an audience and a space for all of this, and there are different creators, and it kind of have their lane. The problem now with where we are, and it kind of stinks, is that due to just the algorithms, the YouTube algorithm or the X algorithm or whatever, is that right now controversy, not even right now, I guess always controversy is sold, but with these algorithms, they push the controversial, the spicy takes, the people with extreme opinions, where if you are just moderately viewing things, it can be hard to get traction. And that has become a real issue with just discussing all of these things, is you get a level of almost inorganic conversation around a lot of these things, because it is coming from people who are making a living off of people listening to their opinions, and these places like YouTube pushing the controversial.
Well, the negativity sells. Negativity will always get you more hits than being positive.
Absolutely.
Like your website is,
right?
Like your YouTube channel is. And I'm not saying you guys don't get good hits or something like that. That's why I never monetized, because on my channel, on my YouTube channel, I have old black and white Disney on there. I have the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. I have Swamp Fox with Leslie Nielsen. It was based on a true character. So I got an agreement with Disney, who I've worked for before, that I don't monetize, and they let me throw that stuff up, and that's for people interested in it, And another thing is from the YouTube perspective on all these movies, a short will always get you more hits than a couple hour long take. That's why after we're done, I'll have AI break it down into little chunks, gold nuggets, and put it out there, and it'll always get more hits, shorts, because people have this generation has an attention span of a gnat, and now we're giving them free pot. I mean, seriously,
Right. Yep.
When I played drums, I mean, I would smoke pot to come down from the cocaine that I was using. That's like a hillbilly speedball, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
So I don't do that now at all.
Right.
Would jump out of my chest.
Yeah.
But the attention span is so short, so So how do we find the balance in all this, do you think?
Yeah, it is going to be tough. And I think that over time it will regulate. And, like you said, we're in this TikTok age, this shorts age where things are in these bite sized bits. And I think it will have its lifespan. And what will end up happening is the people that are in that lane will start to gravitate towards things that do actually take some thought and some time. And it's we're not there yet, but it's kind of one of those generational things where it's just it takes some time to adapt to it, but it is going to be difficult. I mean, they've said that, like, Netflix, for example, has been writing scripts that explain everything that is visibly happening on screen so that the people that aren't paying attention and are on their phones can hear what is happening if they're not looking. And that's why the scripts suck so bad, is because they're writing for people not paying attention. And it's like these studios and some of these places just need to, like, get in their head, like, that's not the audience. Like, they can rewind. We don't create content for people that aren't paying attention. We create this art for the people who care and actually came to watch it.
Yeah, and there's certain genres for certain folks. Our friend Chris Gore loves indies, and I love indies, man. That's why I always listen to Chris on Attack of the Show, and he's been really, really kind to me every time I've got to spend time with him out at the Vegas meetup. You were at that, right?
Yeah. Not the last one, but the one before that. But
well, I was there when Chris had
his heart attack.
Stroke, actually. Yeah.
Or stroke, yeah. No,
immediately Billy Squire came to mind. But anyway,
yep.
I'm glad he's recovered 100%. He likes the horror genre too. I'm not a big fan of that, so I'll watch a review that they do because he's square up on stuff, or a review that you guys will do on horror, Five Nights at Freddy's, something like that. I liked Sinners. I liked Weapons. But
I loved Weapons.
I don't like all the slasher movies like Saw and stuff like that.
Same. Yeah, as they call it, the torture porn stuff. That's not for me. I don't want to watch people get tortured. I like horror actually quite a bit, and I'll even do some of the slashers. But once they get into the torture stuff, I'm like, pass. And I typically warn people if that's the case, and I've encountered something like that. I'm like, hey, if this isn't your bag, stay away.
Well, and it's okay if you want to watch that. We have to come to the space where, hey, if you want to watch that, that's great. I went to a Comic-Con and there were a whole bunch of people who liked The Acolyte. I didn't care for that at all. No. I watched the whole thing. The one odd thing in there that I just found out was the girl who plays X-23, Daphne Keene.
Oh, yeah.
She was in that. She was I didn't know because she was in the full makeup. I thought, oh, this little horn Jedi is pretty cool, And so that was a nugget that I could do out of that. But then they politicize it and then the movie people and the actors are attacking the fans,
right?
Back and forth. So you got YouTubers attacking movies, and then the studios attacking back. And then people are out there saying, hey, I just want to go see a movie,
Right. Yeah, it's a wild thing. And it used to be kind of, this like unspoken rule. You think in that industry, that you don't go after your audience. Yeah, if anything, the ones that are a problem, you just don't say anything. You just kind of ignore it. And it's moved away from that. And a lot of that's due to social media and all of these actors and stuff getting on social media. And they don't seem to have a reign. These studios don't seem to have a good reign on people that act and stuff that they're in. And these actors tend to torch the projects that they're in because they have such a voice on social media. And once that gets out, it is not good. And that's the thing, is your normies, your regular people see that and they're like, they don't even know about any of this controversy. And all of a sudden they see an actor coming out talking crap about everybody that watches their show. And they're like, what is going on?
Well, and just like the Avengers with the down with democracy. I don't watch press tours and stuff like that because these people, and I've met a lot of them, dude. I mean, I used to play with Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and that's Jerry Lewis, the comedian's son. So I've been around a lot of celebrities. I don't care what their opinion are. And
Right.
they have a right to do that, but they have the bigger bully pulpit, which shoots
Right.
them in the foot, like Tatiana Maslany and all that stuff. I didn't like
Mhm.
She-Hulk. I like the look of it, you know, but I mean, they shoot themselves in the foot and drive away audience. That's why I don't watch too much of the press tours because they're imbeciles. They're
Right.
retards, as
Right.
Ryan Kindle would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
they are
and it's funny.
smart. They're not
My two
intelligent people.
right, yeah, a lot of them are, and my two buddies that do Criticless Cast Unhinged on Thursday nights with us, those two guys, they're not in the YouTube space, and that's kind of why I like it. They bring an outside voice, and I'll bring in other people that we know personally in to do that show with us sometimes, and none of them keep up with the press stuff. So a lot of them, I'll start talking about something, and it's like a mile over their head, and it's an interesting dynamic because I will get them to, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, I don't understand why people are complaining about X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, the problem is that this actor did or said that. And so it is interesting to see, you know, people who don't keep up with that. And it is hard to be in this YouTube space and, navigate it because people come in with so many outside opinions about the press tours and everything before it even airs, and a lot of them end up ticked off and mad about something before they ever even watch it, so they're going in mad. And a lot of the times the things that the actors and such say don't play any part in the film whatsoever.
It's so bizarre because you would think like Obama was so amazing. He was hilarious. He was hilarious.
We're on air then.
And then, oh, I'm sorry?
No, that's all right. Just in case you say anything indiscreet about anybody.
What's going on?
We're back. You know,
hi. We're back.
Remember the reason why you came?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So you were at the White House Correspondents' Center?
I was at the White House Correspondents' Center, and Obama was hilarious. Actually, he really we were all drank the Kool-Aid. We were sold. It was amazing.
Well, do you think that he has a future in?
Oh wait, that sounded terrible. No, we were thrilled. We were thrilled. It was amazing to be there. Honestly, it really was. Phew, God, clean that up.
You think that got you out of it? Just doing that? Yeah, you're right, Jeff.
If only I had the Dyson to just suck that moment
just
away.
suck out your problems. Yeah.
Well, and now we can pivot a little bit toward, we talked about Superman. Let's talk about Marvel for a little bit and Fantastic Four. In my opinion, Blaine, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Too much of the and Marvel, both Marvel and DC do it. I'm not interested in therapy sessions like in Peacemaker. I'm not interested in soap operas. You know, just the Thunderbolts. I like that movie. Okay.
Yeah. That's the only therapy session I've liked was Thunderbolts. I was shocked at how much I liked that movie, but it was because it was done in a way that was better, at least, than a lot of these things that they've been doing in these movies with the therapy session, you know, meme.
Let superheroes do superhero stuff. For, like the first, I went and saw Fantastic Four twice. Second time I went to see it, I almost fell asleep during the first 20 minutes because it's just like soap opera. And the Thing had a beard, and somebody called me out and they said, no, Thing had a beard in the Hickman run. It's like, no, I own the whole Hickman run. No, he didn't, but whatever.
Right.
I thought that look was bad. And there was so much dialogue. I wanted to see the Thing do superhero stuff. All of a sudden, Johnny Storm can figure out alien languages, female Silver Surfer, single mom. How did that happen? I guess they couldn't have showed Norrin Rad on there because that was his girlfriend, but they couldn't show that, or that would have caused a lot of confusion. Galactus looked great. A lot of the fight scenes were cool. As a grandfather and the dad of 4 kids, when Franklin was on Sue Storm, when she was like dead for a little bit, I mean, that welled me up a little bit. That was an emotional thing for a father, to see, a baby on there. And I thought the baby stole the show on a lot of the stuff. But then you have the complexity of the Doctor Doom showing up, and that's kind of like Secret Wars, but I don't know what to expect. And Pedro Pascal, I don't. People can like him. I don't care for him as an actor. And I'll give you exact 19. He can't do white guys. And I am not a racist person, dude. I've played with people all over the place, and I'll go, oh, you don't like Mexicans? It's like, no, I'm from Phoenix originally. I've been around them a little bit, and yeah, I could have seen Pedro as White Tiger or something like that. But you know, he blew it going in on his press tour, which unfortunately I watched some of that. I don't care for him as an actor. So his take on Reed Richards, I don't like that mumbling dialogue. You know that. And I asked my son about it, and he says, well, Dad, that's smart guy. I said, no, listen to John Krasinski in Multiverse of Madness. You could be an intellectual guy and still speak eloquently like he did. He was, but I'm sure maybe they asked Krasinski and he passed because Marvel's a death trap, I think, sometimes.
Right.
So there were certain parts. Galactus looked great in that. I actually won a Galactus popcorn bucket because I had a bet about the scene at the end. Dr. Doom's going to show up. No, he's not. I said, hey, if I'm wrong, I'll buy you a Galactus popcorn bucket for $99. But will you put out for one? Sure, Dad. It's like, okay, it's on. Needless to say, that'll be shipped next week. From Cinemark. But so what did you like or didn't like about Fantastic Four? And let's talk a little bit about the future of where Marvel's going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of right there with you, and I think one of the things with Pascal too is it's all about the right casting, right? And we all were picking up on the fact that he was kind of more of a diversity casting than actually the right person for the job. And when you're casting somebody, it's like they've got to be able to display that. The audience has got to be able to see them as this intellectual person. And I don't know that Pedro Pascal has ever come across that way. It's kind of like even if I was acting, and they wouldn't cast me for the smart genius. No, that wouldn't be the role I'd get because I'm not that type of person. And I don't think people would pick that off of me. And yes, actors are supposed to have this, be able to kind of become anything, but there are certain roles that certain people just aren't, suited for. And I think that was the case with him in this role is I just didn't get genius at any point watching him.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of things that I was very middle of the road with that movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just like, I liked the character of it. The movie had a lot of character. And I think a lot of that it showed through also with WandaVision because that was the same people that did
Matt Shakman.
Yeah, exactly. Is who did WandaVision. And I really actually enjoyed WandaVision a lot more than a lot of people. And my wife isn't even super into this stuff. And she's watched WandaVision like 3 times because she loved it so much. So that's the other thing that I try to keep in mind is like some of these regular folks that aren't into a lot of this, there will be things like WandaVision or whatever that come out that they really like. And I think that there were things to find and like in Fantastic Four, but obviously the box office even showed that it was not resonating with people and it wasn't getting that word of mouth of people being like, no, this is the movie you got to go see. And I think, like you said, a lot of it had to do with just the fact that there wasn't a lot of superheroing in that superhero movie. And I think that really hurt it. But as far as the future of Marvel is, I think everything lays in the hands of this Doomsday movie. And it is going to probably make or break whatever Marvel's got going on. And if they are going to keep trucking, they're going to have to, if it does poorly, they're going to have to pull way back and go into like smaller budget, smaller films. And they're probably going to have to start everything over, which honestly, I don't think any of that is necessarily a bad idea for Marvel. I think going smaller scale would probably help them a lot for a while. But I did hear some promising news the other day is that supposedly there is going to be a lot more practical effects used in this Doomsday movie than they have used in the recent films. That could be great because that is the other thing is that people are kind of getting tired of the over like CG fest where nothing feels real. And so if they're using a lot more practicals and even just simple things like it's, if there's a television on the wall, don't do a green screen television, put a screen on there and have people react to it. That sort of thing, like where all of that has started to be missing from film. And I hope that, and it sounds like at least from this guy that's involved with this new movie is maybe they're getting back to the practical and that could help a lot with people's, overall opinion on that movie.
Well, and going back to WandaVision a little bit, that's one of the ones that I mean, I watched, I'm 68. I watched Dick Van Dyke, Brady Bunch,
Right.
you know, all that kind of stuff. I thought they did Agatha Harkness dirty on that.
Yeah, they did.
Nothing like the comic book character. And I forget the name of the actress, but I like the actress. She's a really good actress. You know,
Right.
I liked some of the surprises in WandaVision. I liked the Vision battle thing. You know, I liked some of the callbacks to the old costumes, going from WandaVision into the Agatha Harkness, whatever that was.
Right.
Wiccan is gay, and he is gay in the comics, but the outfit looks just like the comics.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I mean, that's cool. I don't like it that they swapped Wonder Man out. Ray swapped him.
Oh, that's,
You know, so we're building up to tear down. I mean, I love Ben Kingsley, but I hate the Trevor Slattery character.
Yeah, the Mandarin.
I saw, this is my first popcorn bucket. I went and saw the Iron Man 3 debut at Disneyland Paris, and I got to meet Robert Downey Jr. And yeah, I just chatted with him for like 3 minutes, and I don't usually chat acting with people. I find other things, and I told him how much I liked that he sang "Driven to Tears" at Sting's 60th birthday. You know, and he says, "Oh, cool, you saw that." You know, he sings good.
Yeah.
You know, so I hated that. I know we're popping around, but I hated that flip to where Trevor's Ben Kingsley played a really good Mandarin, and then they jerked the carpet out from under you. I mean,
Right.
Marvel always seems to do that. They bring you up, and then they tear the carpet out from under you, and you fall, and you're going, "Why did you do that?" You know,
Right.
And going forward, I'm not excited about Wonder Man, the series. I thought they could do a West Coast Avengers thing, but now I see Captain Falcon's Avengers, and I'm like, you got Loki in there? Okay, why? You know, and going forward, Doomsday and Secret Wars have got to hit it out of the park, and they haven't set the movies up, and everybody's talked about that. You know, and they haven't set it up like they did to Infinity War and Endgame. And I think I'm glad for that age of Marvel movies, because I'll go back. I'll watch Endgame again. I'll watch Deadpool and Wolverine again. I'll watch Infinity War again. Now, there were parts in those movies that I didn't care for, but that's okay, because I liked the majority of the movie. But Marvel, more than, I don't know, between them and DC, who's got a better grasp on what the audience wants, or are they even thinking about what the audience wants?
Right. Well, and it feels like people, like, lately, with the recent stuff with James Gunn, is it's like with Superman, to some degree, it felt like he was thinking that way. And then he puts out things like Peacemaker, and you're like, you made this for yourself and your friends. What are we doing? And so it seems like they just kind of flip-flop back and forth between, it's almost like that actor, you know, mentality of one for them, one for me, is it almost feels like these, like Marvel and DC are doing the same thing, where we're like, oh, we'll do one for the fans, and then we're going to do one for us, where we do a race swapped, you know, show that's entirely about race swapping. And you're just like, what Marvel fans want to see this? Please tell me. Like, it doesn't track. And you know, what audience are you going for? Because you clearly don't have a general audience in mind in doing that. So it is just very odd, their approach with this. And it just seems like there are people at the helm who don't really think about the, you know, the end user, the fan, the viewer. They're just making things, just random weird crap that like a handful of people want to see.
And Blaine, growing up, we like to play superheroes and stuff like that. I never knew that I couldn't act like Black Panther because I was white. I used to stay up in a tree we had in our backyard and leap down on my friends. You know, when that Black Panther comic, I didn't know, well, wait a minute, I'm white, I'm not black, I can't be Black Panther. So a lot of it, they've said out in the public that, well, we want kids to have their own thing. Well, it's pretend. Why can't you guy with guy and girl with girl stuff? I won't say, but why can't you pretend to be Black Panther or Batman if you're a different skin hue or whatever? You know what I mean? It's your imagination. We're killing that. We're putting everything into so many little boxes. Oh, you can't do that because you can't play a gay person because you're not gay, or all the stuff, man. So
yeah, it's they've made it so divisive when they haven't really needed to, and it seems wildly unnecessary. And I mean, this goes outside of Marvel. This is across the entertainment industry as a whole, and they're seeing the repercussions for putting this stuff front and center. Is that your everyday audience person is going to reach a point where they hit a wall and they're over it, and I think we're there. The question is just whether Hollywood and even your companies like Marvel and DC and whoever, if they pick up on the message and if they actually listen and look at the box office numbers and look at those things and say, it's a result of us doing all of this crap, not just that the industry isn't doing well for because of the after effects of COVID or whatever, and blame it on other things, and they actually take responsibility for the stuff that they've done. So,
and I had to go back, pivoting back to DC. I did watch the whole Peacemaker series. I have Peacemaker issue 1, and it's nothing like the comics except the outfit. Right. Somebody had commented, it was Az or somebody that said that Checkmate was created, and I had to go back and look because there was, who wants a Nelson reunion? God, I almost banged my head on the TV, and right. I knew their dad, Ricky Nelson, so and we can go back to Ozzy and Harriet and all that's bunny trail stuff, but who wants the reunion of that and Foxy Shazam? And then it gets lost what they're setting up. And I got the comics for Checkmate, and that team can die before the Thunderbirds, because it's again, both DC and Marvel are doing therapy sessions.
Yep.
And I'm just tired and bored with that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think you're not alone. I think so many people are. And I don't think that it's really the superhero fatigue or I think to some degree, some people are just going to be like, that wasn't my vibe before and it's not mine now. But the people that love comics and superheroes and all of these things, it's a very large audience. Yeah. And there are plenty of people that will show up. Those people aren't fatigued. They're just tired of you feeding them crap and then telling you that you like it. Like that's not what they want. And they don't want to be given something that doesn't feel representative of the comics and the things that they, enjoy and love. And they're getting just something totally different. Like you said, with the therapy sessions and all of that I think that, it's not really a fatigue. It's just the of superheroes in general. It's just fatigue of crap. It's of things that are at best mediocre, and then just one little good nugget every once in a while.
And in Marvel, James Gunn really proved it, where you can take an odd bunch, and even to us comic Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to use that as a thing. Number one. Okay. After the movie was, and I enjoyed the movie, after the movie was over, I asked my son, Alan, who's a collector as well. I said, Alan, what the hell's a Ravager? What's a Star-Lord? And what the hell did they do to Yondu? Because I have Guardians of the Galaxy number 1. Right. And Yondu's like this. I got the figure back there somewhere. Yondu's a sleek archer, but I still enjoyed the movie. And then Alan goes to me, he goes, Dad, you just have to read the Bendis run on Guardians. Right. So I did. And I thought, oh, okay. So that's where that came from. And I was cool with that, because it was still a good, fun movie.
Right. Yeah, no, totally agree. And that's still my Guardians 1 and 2 are up there with my favorite Marvel movies. I love them. This is, right over here is a Star-Lord poster from the comics, a big one. And I love Star-Lord and just everything about Guardians. And I had loved, up until this new Peacemaker series, pretty much everything James Gunn had ever done. I liked it all. And but this new Peacemaker thing, with season 2. I liked season 1 fairly well, but season 2 just really made me rethink. I'm just like, man, you're starting to make me regret standing up so hard for you after this. This is going to be hard to come back from.
Well, and people are talking about the Supergirl movie. Now, I have the original, I have that comic, and some people don't like Tom King. Now, I have the Mr. Miracle run and the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comics. I didn't like the Mr. Miracle run at all, but I love the Supergirl comic. They introduced Crypto is sidelined a little bit. Supergirl, and they explain why Supergirl is a drunk by what she's going through in the comic and Candor and all that stuff. And they introduce Comet, the super horse. And I have that #1 issue, and I'm thinking that could work.
Right.
I mean, my only apprehension on that is that Supergirl and the girl she's on the mission with are just friends. There's no lesbian stuff, nothing against that. If that's the way your door swings, I don't care. But it's not in the comic like that, But Peacemaker was not bi in the comics either. He just liked women. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what are we in for here? Are we going to have this bisexual Supergirl? I don't know. I mean, there's supposed to be a trailer coming out. If they use Comet, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, kids like horses, kids like dogs, that could give it a boost. With Lobo coming in, Jason Momoa, my favorite Lobo is still on a real obscure thing called Krypton. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. The guy who played Lobo in that. I thought he just did a really, really good job. Let me see if I have a little clip from that.
I don't have a second thing yet. Just give me a minute. Well, I could. Do you think that we should, stick around for? Oh, God damn it! What the shit was that? I don't know. Brainiac said this planet's meant to be uninhabited. Was that before or after you turned his head into a canoe? Because it was after. I'm pretty sure he was off his game by then. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about it. Yeah.
You two little candy eyes ain't felt nothing yet.
Hi. Hey, buddy. Just you back here as the rest of the Kiss Army over there behind it.
Oh, he's a talker, ain't he?
Hey.
Good boy. Name's Lobo. Please stop. You're making me blush. Couple of questions. First question, who are you two shitbirds? And second question, what are you doing on this shithole of a planet? Frag. Probably should have asked you that first. I said I probably should. You can't hear me.
The guy who played Lobo in Krypton, that series. Did you ever see that?
I didn't watch. I've seen some of it. I didn't watch it all.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. It was pretty, very Elseworld thing. But Supergirl could work. Men of Tomorrow could work. I like David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan. They had great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
If we can just get out of this feeling soap opera thing, it could work for James Gunn. He's capable of making great movies. Even in Guardians 3, which I didn't care for, High Evolutionary, whoever played that, dude, he hit that character out of the park.
Right.
I mean, he was a really great villain, so that's the golden nugget I found out of that. So we'll see when this trailer drops, with Netflix buying Warner Brothers. I don't think they're going to fire James Gunn. But
Yeah, that would be wild. I mean, I saw more likelihood of that if Paramount got the deal.
Yeah.
But with which I'm seeing a lot of people. I did a video about it yesterday, and I said that I would be shocked if it got if this deal didn't go through, because we've seen deals like that have gotten questioned like this, like Microsoft when they bought Activision Blizzard and different things, where it's like everybody was freaking out and being like, there's no way this is going to go through, and then they end up going through. But there's a lot of people saying that this specific deal, if there was one that wasn't going to go through, it would be this one. But like you said, I don't know that either way, if Netflix gets it or whoever gets it, Warner Brothers, like I don't see James Gunn getting the axe. That would be wild, because it'd be a second, perceived as a second failed DC universe.
Yeah, and they'd have to reboot it a third time, and I'm just not all into that, man. I mean,
no,
I'm tired of that. So let's wind this up with the theater experience. Why still go to the movies? With me, I love to go to the movies with my family. I went to Lilo and Stitch with my granddaughter Willow May and my son Alan. It was three generation of my family. We enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, people picked that one apart and lost their freaking minds over the ending and all that stuff. But that's okay. Maybe it wasn't for them because it made a gazillion dollars. It worked. I liked it to go to the movies with my family. Now, part of the reason I just saw a YouTube thing on why people aren't going, it's because everybody's on their phones. And I think people are afraid to correct people and say, put your phone away, right. You don't have the ushers like back in my day, when the guy with the flashlight come walk around, make sure people weren't necking in the back row and stuff like that.
Right. Exactly.
Necking, not naked.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least not a Rocky Horror Picture Show things. I don't know.
Right,
anyway,
maybe
but I will, if somebody's on the phone, I will politely go up to them, and I'm a pretty nice guy. I'll go up to them and say, could you please not be on your phone, or I'm going to go get the manager, and I will go get the manager. But I haven't had that problem. But then again, I'm in a small town in Ohio, even in the Dayton area, which is more urban. Never had a big problem with that, So
right.
Lucky what do you look? What do you think the future of the theater experience is, Blaine?
I want to see it thrive and have a resurgence. They really shot themselves in the foot through COVID and all that stuff.
Sure.
And between that and the streaming model in general, and then these studios just chugging things out straight on video, literally days after the movie is in theaters, or even sometimes at the same freaking time. And that's done a lot of damage. It's going to be hard to come back from that. And I don't know really what would save them would be a resurgence of really good films that you feel the need to go see in theaters, like when Endgame and all of those things were happening, and these, when the Spider-Man movies have done really well and things like that, where people are like, I want to go see this in the movie theater. That's the place to see it. Is if they start to churn out better things, they're going to have to just do better as an industry. But I have a feeling that it is probably, sadly, going to become a more niche thing. And just because the home experience has gotten so accessible to have a really nice home system, sure. I think that's kind of hurt things as well. And I don't want to see it go that route, but it feels almost inevitable that it is going to be more niche for people that, want to see it on the biggest screen possible with the best sound possible. And it's unless Hollywood can really in the next year to 2 years dig themselves out of this hole and start putting out good things that people are like, no, I need to see that in the theater. I need to see it in the best way possible.
Create the urgency of seeing it
they've got to
create
exactly.
And it's still a good family experience. I would feel safe taking Willow May or any of my other grandchildren to Zootopia,
right.
or stuff like that. And people see, even with that movie, you'll see it online. That's why stay offline with all the negatory stuff on there. They're saying, there's colonizing. I'm just I don't even see that thing.
Right.
It's like, you really got to dig deep to find the negative. Try to find the positive.
Right.
Have fun in the theater.
Yep.
I think after COVID, when they built the theaters up into all this nice swag and all the other stuff, and
Right.
popcorn buckets going for over $35 to $50,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's still Snow White buckets laying around everywhere. So
Right.
in the theaters that I've seen, so they really can't. The theaters can't make their money. I mean, there's just
Right.
they just can't. So maybe
Yeah.
it will go, and maybe they'll just be, that's why I think they bring back like Back to the Future, Star Wars. The very first Star Wars movie is coming out again in theater.
Right.
And people go see that just to have a fun time and, reminisce. When you get to be my age, man, it's cool to go watch good movies, so.
Right. Well, and that's the sad part is it's like they've got to dredge up all these older films that people are nostalgic about, and they can't put out new things to make people have to have this current generation have things that they are passionate about. And that's a real bummer. Now, I think it is great that they're putting these older, awesome things out in theaters, and I think they should just keep doing it because it's clearly helping the theaters. But it is a weird thing where it's like, like I said, I have young children, and my daughter who's 11, I use the litmus test of Halloween, and what are the kids dressing up as in Halloween? What's taking over in pop culture to where they want to dress up as this person? And my daughter was like, there's not anything cool that's come out that I want to dress up as, or I want to be like, there's no new things that I'm interested in. And I'm like, that's a bummer. That shows a massive failure on Hollywood's part.
Yeah, my granddaughter Willow dressed up as Spider-Gwen, which was really cool. Yeah. I felt good because my son is a real big Spider-Man fanatic, So I mean, so the thing I would tell parents and grandparents and all that stuff: teach your kids to be critical, but maybe a little critic-less.
Right?
See what I did there?
Yeah. There we go. I like it.
And go to the movies and have fun. Fun is contagious. And fun because our societies became so stinking negative, So, in conclusion, Blaine, I appreciate you coming on. I want to just do a couple things that I've noted that I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
I watch First We Feast, the hot sauce thing.
Yeah.
I do that because that Sean guy is such a good interviewer.
Man, I'm telling you, Sean Ryan is one of the most impressive interviewers out there.
So I've always had a thing for Winona Ryder. Never met her, but
right.
And I'm going to go see Stranger Things in the theater on New Year's Day just to do it. Right. He said in his interview, quoted back to old Roger Ebert. Remember Siskel and Ebert back in the day?
Of course, yeah.
Did great reviews, I thought. And he said to watch Winona Ryder's eyes, and I never thought about that. It said Winona Ryder's eyes speak; they talk. And then I went back and watched Heather's, and I watched a couple Beetlejuice and all that stuff, and I checked out her eyes. And I was like, "Wow, that's cool." So I gleaned that off of the Hot Ones. And all that stuff. He just had Matthew McConaughey on there and stuff. So so go to some YouTube channels that are cool, that are fun, and stuff like that, and try to find the best in movies. Blaine, what is your all-time favorite movie? Let's list your top 5, because I know I couldn't just say one.
Right. Doing one is difficult. Now, there is one required answer from me because it's become an inside joke just with all of Criticless and our community and everything. I have to first and foremost say Pacific Rim because it's required, because there is an ongoing, like I said, there's an ongoing joke. There's achievements in Criticless. So it's almost like a video game where certain things that you do generate certain badges or achievements within the app. And I did one surrounding Pacific Rim, and I just joked that it is the best movie ever. I do love it. It's not my favorite movie ever. Honestly, I think probably my favorite film is Fight Club. I adore Fight Club so much. I've seen it so many times. It's definitely up there. But all of my others are definitely a little stranger, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
Sure.
way up there.
Yep.
I adore it because it really it speaks to the comic and video game fans, all of that, the nerd culture, and really kind of rips on it while not making fun of it. And I adore that part of it. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is up there, one of my all-time favorites.
Yep.
I like a lot of these more indie leaning films, but then if I was pulling from other genres, Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite horror movies. It's very meta and a little strange. That one's definitely up there as well. And then maybe something like Donnie Darko. I love that film as well. Mine are kind of eclectic and not your typical ones that a lot of people say, I guess, except for maybe Fight Club. But I really got my love for film during the early 2000s. And my family, we watched movies as a family, but my parents definitely weren't film buffs or anything like that. And I had a buddy who was big into film, wanted to go into the industry, and has done some film and is in the industry now. But at the time, he just loved it and got me into it. And I watched just wall-to-wall indies. And the early 2000s were amazing for indies and just weird kind of obscure films as well. And so that was really where my love for film came, was as I was in high school watching just a lot of this really creative artistic stuff come out. And I just really got a love for the artistic side of filmmaking and that indie space.
And as for me, being a kid of the 60s and 70s, I like all the martial art movies. We both watched Last Samurai Standing. I have Size in my living room. That's
awesome.
Ex-martial artist. I took kendo for a while, but I wasn't quick enough, and I'm pretty fast.
Right.
I was a little less pounds, but I have a katana on my wall, so I love Last Samurai Standing, all the different weapons and stuff like that. Big Trouble in Little China, Showdown in Little Tokyo, with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, and the late, great Kerry, I forget his last name. He just passed away a couple days ago. He was in Mortal Kombat. He was the big bad in Mortal Kombat. And I'm rewatching Man in a High Castle, and he was a trade minister in that. Great actor. So I lean toward martial art movies, or Buckaroo Banzai, or Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China is way up there for me. I adore that.
One of the most quotable movies ever.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And honestly, John Carpenter in general, all his stuff. I literally Black Friday finally got a 4K Blu-ray of The Thing, and it's just he did some great stuff.
I love the head when it's sprouting the legs and The Thing.
Right.
Great little. What the F is that? Yeah. So I mean. But I love the mainstream movies too. I mean, I watched The Exorcist when it first came out. I watched that's of course Star Wars, but I'm not confident in Disney on a lot of this stuff because they've managed to destroy some of the most precious IPs that even I loved Willow, the original one. Which was an obscure movie, but it was well done. And they butchered the crap out of it. It was horrible. And going forward, we'll see what this Netflix thing does. I mean, I guess they're going to HBO Max and Netflix is going to stay separate, but I'm looking forward on HBO to the new Game of Thrones, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That
trailer looked great.
Yeah, it looks so, but that's teaching us to stay home,
Right. It is.
I'm on MGM. I know Robin Hood's been done a zillion times. MGM, I dumped a couple other channels to get MGM, and they have a Robin Hood series there that's really good. I like it because when Friar Tuck is introduced, he explains Christianity in a good way. But they have the paganism of the Saxons, which I'm cool with. I mean, their naked goddess Goda is hot, I mean, I like boobies, so what can I say?
I would worry if you didn't and you were a straight man,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I definitely like that. But so there's all kind of nuggets, but I just don't see them in the theater. And I will still go to the movie theater as long as I can, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I try to go, well, there's not been as many stuff that I was excited about the past couple of weeks, but it's like, I try to go at least once a week. And like you were mentioning, like I have Stubbs A-list through AMC and I get to see like up to 3 movies a week. So it's like, if something's out and I got the time, I'd like to try and go check it out when it's, if I can see it in the theater.
We used to go to the movies once a week, man. Over in Phoenix, it was $2 to $5. We go see Soylent Green or, all the oddball movies and stuff like that, to where it was fun, know. And I don't know going forward. Like I posted on Twitter with this Netflix deal, to wait and see. We'll see what happens if they pass it through. It's funny how Hollywood wants the government to intervene now. Funny how that works,
Oh yeah, come save us now.
Yeah. Save me.
Right. Yeah. After we've talked crap about, all of you and done this to ourselves.
Not to be political, but when you have Matt Gaetz and Elizabeth Warren doing the same appeal, something's up.
Yeah, seriously.
But hey, folks, this is Blaine. He's got a great channel. The way you can help, I really encourage you to become a member of Criticalist, buy a t-shirt. That's the way you can help people. I love Clown TV, so I'll help with their Kickstarters and Geeky Sparkles little things. And I get that for my grandkids, and support your whatever channel you like. I would encourage you to go to Blaine's channel. If you're looking for a YouTube channel to watch, Friday Night Tights is a good place to go because they have so many different people on there. And then find out who you like. It's right. And then support that channel. I encourage you to do that. I have a regular job during the week and just do this on the weekend. So I will support who I like out there, and I encourage you to do that because YouTube is becoming a little rough terrain, I heard.
Yeah, to say the least. It has been an interesting learning experience for us. When creating Criticalist, I wasn't expecting to be learning all of that and the content creator space, and it's a hustle, and it is keeping up with the algorithms, and then also, like you said, just having unpopular opinions can be tough in this space. And I tend to be someone that I anger a lot of people by being so balanced about my takes and not getting too emotional about it or too hot-headed or extreme in one direction or another. But hey, that's the thing. You got to just be honest, and you got to
not like your Tron Ares review or something like that.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one riled some people. Tron Ares absolutely did. Same for my Electric State opinion of that movie as well. That one riled up a few people.
Yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And my kids loved it. They had a blast. And so that's the thing is I'm like, if I like something, I'm going to say I like something. I'm not just going to blow smoke up people's butts and give them the opinion they want to hear. So.
Well, and we're seeing things through a father and with me, a grandfather lenses. So things like that change and they do. People who don't have that experience, and that's okay. Watch what you want to watch, support who you want to watch. That's a great thing about being there. Well, Blaine, thanks a lot. I'm going to end the recording and play our outro, and then I'll meet you in the green room just to sub it up.
Sounds great.
Hail to the king, baby.
What the hell are you two doing? That's called rocking out. You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
And this is Dr. Gonzo for all you baby boomers. Hey, like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you right around the corner.
Hi, my favourite DJ, Dr. Gonzo, is on the air right now. Dr. Gonzo is live Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The doctor knows what you need. The true classic hits of the 60s, 70s and 80s. So tune in to gonzoradiopequa.com 24/7. Buy the ticket and take the ride, because that's just what the doctor ordered. Tune in worldwide on the internet or Spotify.